let me start by welcoming everybody to Edge4Vets. My name is Tom Murphy, and I'm the director of the Human Resiliency Institute at Fordham, which offers the program. You see that the whole objective here is contained in the logo up in the upper left-hand corner. It's a program for vets. And by the way, when I say vets, what I'm talking about is all the participants in the Edge4Vets program that includes veterans, but includes also the National Guard. We've got some folks from National Guard. It includes transitioning service personnel, spouses as well. Edge4Vets is totally inclusive, looking to be supportive. But as you hear me talk about vets today, that I'm including everybody in that. So it's a program for vets and the others. It's got 4 parts to it. You see the 4, and those 4 parts break out into vision, values, skills, and action. And I'll go into all that today and how that applies to help give vets, the final word up there, an edge. The whole objective is to support our veterans to get a job that can lead to a career for the life that they want. They create a plan for success with those 4 elements: vision, values, skills, and action. So objective is to give them an edge for a job that can lead to a career with our partner companies. And we've got a great group today of veterans in our cohort this fall. This is the fall Edge4Vets Workshop Series. We're looking at something about 42 folks are in veterans are in the cohort already, and we expect to add more as we go along here. But as you see, the whole objective is to provide the support so that they can get a job leading to career. And in addition to our participating vets, then we have those who offer those opportunities for a job that can lead to a career. And those are the partner companies that work with us. So we've got a nice group today, the veterans, as well as the representatives from our partner companies. And you'll have a chance to meet them as we go along. But let me just go first to the agenda and let you know what we're going to be doing today. I mentioned the idea of gaining an edge by creating a plan for success with the 4 parts to it: vision, values, skills, and action. Step 1 in this process, and this is the second workshop in the full workshop series. The first workshop series, we introduced you vets to the concept of the online course. And for the past 2 weeks, you've been working on that course to watch the videos, do the exercises, take the online course, and create your 4-part plan for success. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. We've got some vets who we're going to be highlighting, who've been working on their plan, have some interesting perspectives to share that can be helpful for those vets who are still working on their plan. Following step 1, step 2, we do the connection piece, and think about it as 2 bookends. Step 1 is the initial workshop that explains the program for you vets, explains how it works, the benefits, and then we turn the keys, if you will, over to you, and you have 2 weeks to work on take the online course and develop your plan for success. And then the bookend on the other end is today's session, the connection workshop. And that's where, after you've made yourself job ready, used our program to help you gain clarity on your strengths and articulate them, then you get a chance to, you see the bullet number 3, meet the HR reps from our partner companies. And these are the folks that offer the opportunities for those jobs that can lead to careers. So we're going to give you a chance today to meet them, vets. We're going to hear from each of our partner companies who are going to talk about the opportunities that exist with them. And then we're going to conclude by talking in terms of action. And action involves taking your skills once you've identified them through the online course and developing a plan for success, taking your skills and interests and exploring how those match up to the job opportunities that our companies are offering. So if you see Edge4Vets as a system, bookend 1, the preparation, 2 weeks, you have a chance to work at your own pace to create your plan for success. And then we bring you in for the connection. The final bullet there, and let me, at the outset, this is a housekeeping matter. I'm going to ask everyone, our vets or our mentors, either our partner company representatives or guests, we call you mentors. I'm going to ask you to go into the chat and put your name and your contact email with the note whether you're a vet or a mentor. And I say this because this is how we're going to keep in touch with you, vets, and for our partner companies, this is how we're going to be keeping you apprised. So very critical that you go into the chat during the session so that we can know who's with us today. Put your name and your contact information, and then also in parentheses, just put whether you're a vet or a mentor. Perfect. All right. So let's get started. And let me begin by clarifying the goal of the program. And you see the word up there, clarifying. The word is clarity. The whole objective with Edge4Vets is, as I mentioned, help you vets get clear about your strengths so that you can gain an edge to land a job with one of our partner companies that can lead to a career. And that all starts with getting clarity. You've got to get clarity. See up top, it says Edge4Vets, vision, values, skills, and action. You got to get clarity on, when we say vision, the kind of work that you want to do for the career that you want. Edge4Vets is not, you know, a course you take to just get a job to last you to January or March, something like that. No, Edge4Vets is all about helping you get clarity about what is your passion, what are your skills, but also what kind of interest do you have, what drives you that you'd like to be able to go to work every day, feel good about it, and have that job lead to a career. So that's wrapped up in your vision statement, and that's part of the clarity that we help you get. The online course takes you through that, certainly. But then you see values and skills in workshop 1. We talked about, and we did a couple of exercises around this idea of gaining clarity about the values you develop in the military and how those become your cornerstone, if you will, for all the actions you take and in fact make you valuable to the companies because you bring values. And then we talked about your skills. And the final piece there is action. And we're going to talk about that today. How do you take your values and skills and put them into action to perform at a high level? So when I say the goal of the program is clarity, we want to help you get clarity on what are your strengths in the military, what are your values and your skills, and translate those, which simply means putting them into your own language. And again, the online course takes you through that process. You watch videos, you do exercises, and you emerge with a plan for success that in fact is the articulation of your strengths. So that's what we do in step 1. And then you see, once you've done that, which takes you a long way toward getting job ready, then we connect you to the opportunities with the partners. So again, at the bottom of the page, prep and connect. That's what Edge4Vets is all about. Prepare you and then connect you. And saying that, what I'm going to do is I want to talk a little bit about the vets who've been through this program. We've had vets who've been through the program, have identified their strengths through Edge4Vets, created a plan for success, landed a job, and now they are out there in the workforce getting a chance to apply those military skills and perform at a high level. So we made a video, and I'm going to say sing their praises because it is a music video. So I'm going to share this, a very short video, but you're going to see some of the vets who've been through Edge4Vets and the different kinds of things that they're doing, the different jobs that they're doing, but they're all using their skills that they translated in Edge4Vets and using them to perform at a high level. So I'll show this and then we'll talk a little bit about it.
So come on, what do you say? Let's get our vets a job today. When towers toppled in New York, they hit DC and Shanksville too. Brave young men and women answered the call. They were faithful through and through. From Iraqi sands to Afghanistan, their courage knows no bounds. our young vets have the skills, America, to turn this country around. You never wavered, vets. You were true blue. Now that you have the need, it's time we do. And 2 million strong, our young vets, loyal to our nation. They've got the edge, America, to lead the next generation. You never wavered, vets. You were true blue. Now that you have the need, it's time we do. Our young vets are home now. In waves they have arrived. Let's put them to work, America. All they want is a 9 to 5. You never wavered, vets. You were true blue. Now that you have the need, it's time we do. Come on, America. What do you say? Let's get our vets a job today. Come on, America. What do you say? Let's get our vets a job today. Come on, America. What do you say? Let's get our vets a job today. Let's get our vets a job today.
Okay, so you've seen, you saw examples of veterans who took the program. I can share with you that we started Edge4Vets in 2011. To date, 1,500 vets have been through the program in 8 states, and many of them are out there doing excellent work, having a chance to apply their values and skills. And what you see on this screen is a breakout of the plan for success that those vets that you saw in the video are getting a chance now to use. They start with a vision, getting clarity on the kind of work that they want to do for the job they want, for the career they want, and then breaking out the values that they developed in the military. No matter what branch you were in, you developed values. And if you can go into an interview and you can, first of all, get clarity on those values, identify them, talk about them, and tell how the values that you inculcated, whether it's selfless service or initiative or integrity, whatever the values from your branch are that you inculcated, you go into an interview and you talk about them in your own language. That is the translation process. And you're going to click then with an HR rep who is eager to hire people who can bring values. So you have them, but the key is you got to be able to articulate them. And that's what the plan for success helps you do. In addition to the values, the other asset that you bring to a company are the skills that you develop, the unique skills that you develop. And again, the plan for success helps you identify what duties you had, what you got good at carrying them out. And you go into an interview and you just talk about them, no jargon, just talk about them in your own, colloquial language. They're going to carry strength because they are things you got good at that an HR person is going to recognize can be helpful to that company. And then finally, the action plan. How do you use your values and skills to move forward? So let me go to the next screen though, because I just wanted to give a sample. We've had the vets since the first workshop working on their plan for success. Everybody has gotten access to the course, and you've invited to work at your own pace, watch the videos, take the exercises. And the first thing that you do in the online course is you get clarity on the vision, the kind of work that you want to do. And this is Kenneth Mather's plan. And I'm not sure, is Kenneth with us today? Kenneth, if you are, can you unmute yourself and just let me know that you're there? Because what you did is you talked in terms of military duties that you had, and you see it on the screen there, maintaining expensive military equipment, You then had to keep track of false deficiencies with that equipment, and you had to perform tasks under high pressure. This is, typical probably of many of you, but this is what Kenneth identified in his plan. And the question we asked you is, what did you enjoy about those duties? What did you enjoy? If you had to maintain expensive military equipment, what did you enjoy? And what you see Kenneth talked about there is developing close relationships with others, his ability to work with diverse groups of people. And when you go into an interview, Kenneth, this is what you want to talk about, is what your duties were and what you enjoyed that can then lead you to work with that company, that can give you, you match with opportunities that the company offers, but based on the passion that you have, the things that you did in the military, and the enjoyment you got out of certain aspects of that you then can translate for a job in the civilian sector. And that's the process that we helped you work through. So I'm not sure if Kenneth is a UMass Boston vet. I'm not sure if he's with us today. Are you there, Kenneth?
I'm here, Tom.
All right, great, perfect. Well, you heard me highlighting the vision statement. Why don't you share a little bit about what you enjoy doing? You say you enjoy working with diverse groups of people. We've got a lot of HR reps with companies today that I'm gonna guess, Kenneth, and everybody else. And by the way, when Kenneth talks, he's really speaking for everybody here, all the vets that are participating. I'm gonna guess that's gonna ring a bell with many of our HR reps who, if you can bring that interest in working with diverse groups of people, that means that you're a team kind of guy and have an ability to work in a team, and you're bringing that experience, but you're bringing that passion to do that. And I'm going to guess that's going to make you attractive to HR folks. We can hear some of the HR folks back me up on that. But first, I'd like to give you a chance, Kenneth, to talk about, you say you enjoy working with diverse groups of people. Can you talk a little bit about that? What is it about working with diverse groups that is appealing to you?
Yeah, so when I was getting out of the Army, I was thinking like my job has nothing to do with the civilian world. And it really this whole course made me think, dig deeper. I was like, oh, okay, there's more than just working with Patriot missiles. And obviously I'm not going to come to the civilian world, be a Patriot maintain operator. So this course really made me dig deep and take what I did more than just working with the missiles. So like I said, working with a diverse group of people, that was just an eye-opening, because this course made me pull that out of what I did every day. And if you think about it, I had people from different countries, different languages, all over the US. And just, rather than just having everyone in my hometown, it's really different. It's a really big culture shock, and you get to learn about other people and how they work, and you learn from each other, and it was really cool. And having structure and goals to achieve was another part of working with the missiles, because we had a lot of deadlines that we had to meet. If we didn't meet them, it wasn't fun. So that made us all motivate, work together as a team, and just learn from each other, and learning a lot of different ways to work. And that's another thing I enjoyed working as well in the Army. A lot of high pressure stuff.
Kenneth, excellent. Let me, there was a whole lot there. Let me just unpack a couple of things, and I'm going to encourage any of our HR folks who are on the call to jump in and back up Kenneth on this. But you talk about, coming from, I think you called it a local background, and that's true for everybody, really. Everybody grows up someplace, and maybe it's a community where you don't have a lot of contact with different kinds of people. But one of the things, and this is true, all vets, you should recognize this as a strength. You go into the military, which pulls people from all different walks of life. Some you like, some you don't, whatever. But it's a diverse group, and you have to learn to work with them. And that's what Kenneth was saying, that you not only had to learn, but you enjoyed that aspect of them. Now, I'm going to suggest, Kenneth, that you go into an interview and please don't change a word of that. If you can explain how you went from a local background into a broad background and you enjoyed it, man, I'm going to just, open the floor to some of our HR reps to back me up that Kenneth's on the right track. And this can make you stand out in an interview. And the whole objective is to get somebody to say yes to you, to let you into the company for that job that then can get you on the way. And I'm going to say that ability, and this is what you want to talk about, Kenneth, is that ability to work with different kinds of people from different backgrounds is something that's a strength that can make you attractive. Please, one of our HR folks, unmute yourself, and for all of the vets on the call, back up Kenneth that he's on the right track.
This is Charles Fuller from Keolis Commuter Services. If I could add something to Kenneth, I would say you have a wonderful statement. You have a lot of energy when you're speaking, and that holds my attention. So that's a very good thing. Keep that throughout your process. I would also suggest that you consider specifics. Cross-cultural fluency is very important. I'm in a public sector business. We have all sorts of folks, men, women, old, young, gay, straight, trans, whatever. We've got a lot of diversity. So specific examples of how you were able to work with people whose backgrounds were different from your own and establish bridges is very important. So specific examples that illustrate that. The general content that you gave us so far was great, but I would want more specific examples that are going to give me a sense that you were competent in working with different types of groups.
Thank you, Charles. And you're always wonderful, Charles, being able to find elements and then suggest ways to grow them, because you've been doing this for a long time looking at talent. So thank you for offering that guidance to Kenneth. And please, as Kenneth talks and as he gets feedback and as other vets chip in today and talk, all the other vets should be taking notes and learning from those who are talking. That's why we're doing this. All right, let me say just, this is what the whole program's about. You make a plan for success, and there you see one of our vets holding up his plan. You go online to the online course, and we sent you all the video on how to do it, and we sent you a link with access. And in each of the sections, vision statement, you just type in the answers to the questions that lead you to the creation of a statement in that area, and then onto the values, and then on the skills, and then finally the action plan. Those 4 statements come together to produce a really fine, presentable, professionally demonstrable plan for success that you can attach to your resume. And we find vets, I just want to underscore this, the vets who do their plan for success and attach that to their resume, our HR folks come back to us and say, this did give them an edge, because it gave the HR folks a window to an extra window beyond your resume to evaluate you. And at any time you can give the HR folks an extra window into you, and not only just a vague window, but a window into your strengths, your values and skills, that's what's going to give you the edge. And that's why we find up to 8 out of 10 vets who do this process do get jobs. So it's sitting there for you. We make it available. Let me say, when I say we make it available, the next step after you do your plan for success is the connection piece. And we're going to spend the bulk of today with our companies now, giving our companies a chance to talk about the opportunities that exist at their companies. And I'm going to ask each company as I call you, we're going to show the web page from your career, the web page for your site, and give you a chance to talk about, in 3 minutes or so, what your company does, the kinds of opportunities broadly that you have, areas of growth that you're looking at. Give the vets something that when they go after the workshop today, and we give them the link to your career page and we give them the link to your website, they can do the research to get the detail on all of that. But you're teeing it up for them to get excited about the kinds of opportunities that your company offers. And then each of our companies has, some of them have a team member or two. We'll give the rep from each company a chance that we coordinate with, a chance to introduce each team member. and give each team member 30 or 60 seconds just to say who you are and what you do at the company. And then the rep will take the baton and describe the company and the opportunities with you. So let me tell you the companies we have with us today. We've got Boston Scientific. These are our partners that make the program possible. Draper, we've got Cambridge Savings Bank, we've got Kronos and Ultimate Software, Keolis, you just heard from Charles, Biogen.
Nope, I'm all set. All I need to know is,
Boston
can I
Children's
send this
Hospital.
back? And I don't want to see it again or on my bill, please, but thank you for offering offers, whatever I have.
Got somebody on there who needs to mute. And then I want to offer a special
Okay,
thanks.
thanks.
I want to offer a special thanks to Mass Hire, UMass Lowell, and UMass Boston, because these are the groups that we work with to get the word out to you, vets, and then when you learn about us, you can register. And I'm going to call on Dennis. Actually, I think we have Brian, if I'm not mistaken. Brian, the head of the vet program. Dennis is our lead coordinator, but I think Brian is with us, and he coordinates the vet program for Mass Hire for the. Are you there, Brian Ottinger?
Hi, Tom. I'm happy to participate this morning, but Dennis does coordinate the whole program for us, which is very much appreciated.
Great. Then we'll let Dennis, would you just take a second and just talk about the Department of Career Services, because you source, and many of the vets on the program today have been sourced into us by you. And then what we're going to do is, following the workshop series, those that came from Department of Career Service, and you've got several reps on the call today, we're going to cycle those vets back to them for follow-up service and wraparound support. But if you'll just talk, Dennis, about career services and what you do.
So the Department of Career Services, Mass Hire Career Centers are located throughout the Commonwealth. There's 29 or 30 centers that have veterans employment reps there who work with military veterans exclusively, those with significant barriers to employment, to try to help them get into the employment or the world of employment. We've partnered with Edge4Vets for many years, and over the years, we have been able to connect military veterans and many of our mentors together. And the result has been very, very pleasing to us and to the veterans themselves, because they are gainfully employed and well on their way. Some, in fact, have become mentors at these events, at these workshops that Tom hosts, simply because they want to give back.
Great. Thank you, Dennis. And I know you've got several, you put the word out, you said you got 29 or 30 career centers around the state. And as Edge4Vets grows in 2021, we're going to be including even more of those centers into the recruitment process. But I know you've got several who are listening in on the call today from those centers. So thank you to you. I'm not sure if Janine from UMass Lowell is with us. Is Janine there? I'm not sure if she could make it today, but UMass Boston, I think Lavelle Seymour may be there. UMass Boston works with us to put word out, and I think Tom Miller's there, but is Lavelle there?
I'm here. Hi, guys.
Great. Great, Lavelle. Could you just, in 30 seconds or so, just tell us a little bit about UMass Boston and your commitment to veterans?
Yes, so I'm also an alumni of UMass Boston. I've done my undergraduate work, my graduate work, and PhD candidate work at UMass Boston. So I'm very familiar with the veteran services that I have received and the veteran services that we are receiving. We've partnered with the Joiner Institute, and we've partnered with the Vet Center, and we have our Student Veterans Center that we have for our students. We have a population of 650 veterans at UMass Boston. So we're very diverse in our outreach. Our student veterans are always involved with Reese Across America, doing Toys for Tots. We have a very active and inclusive veterans population at UMass Boston. And the Edge4Vets is such a unique opportunity for us to be able to bring this to our students. Our outreach consists, our office, we are three, Gus St. Silva, Chris Clement, and myself. And as the resource coordinator, I work very closely with Dennis Pellegrino and all the career centers to help our students with not just only with their job search, but other services that will lead them to a job. You know, with especially like with the vet center, if our veterans don't have the holistic approach of gaining the confidence, translating their skills, and if there's any other issues, any emotional, social difficulties, we have to take care of those first before we can make sure that they're ready to go out into the civilian career field. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that I am learning as the resource coordinator is that just because it looks good on paper doesn't necessarily mean that everything is ready, that we're ready to launch them into the next step. And this is where I think, Tom, your program is really very helpful in this holistic approach.
Yeah, and let me thank you, Lavelle. Let me just put a fine point on that. You know, I heard the number 650. That's wonderful for our partner companies because that's a supply. You know, we heard from Dennis and the Department of Career Centers that does outreach to folks. But now you've got 650 who can, you can put word out to them. They can take Edge4Vets and then they can get opportunities with our partner companies. And we can serve as that facilitator on that linkage, which is our objective. Let me just say before I go to the companies though, Tom Miller is a vice chair, if I'm not mistaken, at UMass Boston. Is Tom there? Because he's doing some exciting things and we're going to be working with him to cycle vets who take Edge4Vets back into work that Tom's doing for wraparound support. Is Tom Miller there? I'd just like to give you a second, Tom, to say hello.
I am Tom. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. Lavelle laid out very nicely, you know, a lot of the support activities that go on at UMass Boston. One of the things that we're looking to implement as part of the William Joyner Institute is this idea of, it's called VetNet or Veterans Network. And the way that we're trying to integrate with this initiative is what Tom refers to as kind of that wraparound support. Is that, for instance, once Kenneth comes back to UMass Boston with his plan and to go out to the private sector, is that we make that there's an opportunity for us to make sure at UMass Boston that from an academic preparation perspective that we're making sure that all the right boxes are getting checked. And so I think there's a real interesting opportunity there to support our students, full circle, if you will, on this, and look forward to working with Edge4Vets. This is a great program.
Well, thank you, Tom, and thank you, Lavelle, because we heard from Dennis. We've got UMass Boston, we've got UMass Lowell, we've got other colleges that are looked at again as this bookend analogy. We source veterans in, and then we only do that because we have these relationships with you folks at the colleges and the career centers that send them to us. And then on the other side, we facilitate the job readiness piece and then connect them to the partner companies. So we're playing that middleman role, but I wanted to acknowledge the sourcing partners because you're absolutely critical. You create the pipeline, and then following the workshop, we'll cycle them back to you for wraparound support. But again, we're going to spend the bulk of today on our connection piece, and that means vets having a chance to hear from our companies, who they are, what they do. And I'd like to start with Boston Scientific. I'm assuming, and I'm hoping Sergio is there, our coordinator at Boston Scientific. If you are Sergio, could you just take 3 minutes or so, talk about Boston Scientific, what you do, but key it to the kinds of opportunities that exist, and then just allude to the career page and how the vets can learn about those opportunities. Is Sergio there?
Yeah, I am. Hi, Tom.
Okay, there's your career page from your website. So if you'll just go ahead and give us insight into the kinds of opportunities that you offer. Vets, I'm going to urge you to get out your pen and paper and take notes during this section.
Well, I don't know if anything that I say will be completely noteworthy, Tom, but I appreciate the effort there. So hi, everybody. I'm Sergio Santos. I'm the manager for diversity recruiting programs at Boston Scientific. And we're always proud to serve our veterans, and we have a great number of veterans working for Boston Scientific. So if you don't know about us, we are a global medical device innovation company. So we make medical devices. We have our headquarters in Marlborough, Massachusetts. We also have a facility in Quincy, and we have commercial representation in more than 120 countries, got 36,000 employees spanning 179 sites globally, to include 38 global manufacturing centers. So specifically from a veteran's perspective, if you're just directly transitioning out of the service, we always have a lot of great opportunities in manufacturing and operations, doing leadership roles in that space, production supervisors. We're always looking for talent in that space, as well as logistics and supply. And another great place where we find great success with veterans is in the sales force. And the sales force, we're everywhere across the nation, across the globe. But if you're looking for those other type of roles, it's typically going to be Marlborough, Massachusetts, Spencer, Indiana, Twin Cities, Bay Area, and LA area. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wonderful. Let me just put a fine point on it. You're hearing from Sergio now, and you'll hear from the reps at each of our companies, but you're going to get, following this workshop, the contact information for all of our company reps. So we've given you the website already so that you can be doing some advanced research into these companies. Well, following the workshop, you're going to get Sergio's contact information so that, and this is one of the benefits I want to highlight for you, vets, when you participate in Edge4Vets. And we recognize that you're investing your time. It takes time to do this, but the real benefit you get is you get connected to a decision maker. I mean, Sergio's heading up the veteran program for Boston Scientific. So you're getting connected to somebody. And one of the frustrations and one of the reasons we created Edge4Vets is we found that vets, today everything is online. You apply for a job, but if you don't have a network, if you don't know anybody, you're going to apply to a company and very, very likely you may never hear back. But with Edge4Vets, we show you, we give you the career website so you can apply for a job online, but then we connect you to the decision maker on the HR side so you can let that person know that you've applied. And that is the part that gives you the distinction. So you will get the contact information for all of our partners. Sergio, do you have anybody on your team with you today? If you do, we can take a moment and just highlight who they are.
I don't think anybody else was able to join. Anybody else from BSC?
Because I know Jessica was with you in the past, but
yeah,
okay.
She's
So
moved on, and Michelle's
some of our companies do have folks. Let me go to Draper. I know Mark Dubois is on the call. I'm not sure if Suzanne is, but Mark, would you unmute yourself? And same as Sergio did, will you just tell us a little bit about Draper, the opportunities that you offer, and explain to the vets how they can apply?
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom. Mark Dubois here representing Draper. We're an independent R&D nonprofit headquartered in Kendall Square in Cambridge. And we tackle important national challenges and provide successful usable solutions. Our customers include commercial space, prime defense contractors, the intelligence community, as well as the biotech world that we support. We have over 1,600 employees in Cambridge. About 1,200 of that staff are technical engineers. So any degreed engineers here would love to chat with you. I had sent over some other opportunities to Tom. We do also have some needs for subcontracts, IT, industrial security, information assurance, and any vets with clearances that are still active or active top secrets would love to chat with you. I would recommend going to the careers page, draper.com, and doing a search through there. Would love to chat with other vets as far as opportunities with Draper, and then also other opportunities through my network that I might be able to connect the dots and help in your search. And glad to be here today.
Perfect, Mark. And there you mentioned the career page. There it is right there on the screen. And so if I'm understanding you correctly, and I think this is the way it works with all the companies, you're inviting the vets to go to the career page, explore to see if there's something that appeals to them or interests them, apply for it online. But then, as I mentioned with Sergio, the vets are going to get the contact information for the rep our contact person with each of those companies, so they can give you a heads up that they've applied. So it's not just like applying into the virtual black hole and never hearing back. They're letting you know so that you can go from the other end and look for their application. And it's that connection making that makes this whole thing work. So we're going to give your contact information to all of our participants, but on the other side, for our company reps, we're going to give you the list of all of the vets in the cohort with their contact information. So we build that bridge from both ends. But thank you, Mark, for that. I want to go next to Cambridge Savings Bank, and I'm not sure who do we have with us today from Cambridge.
Hi, this is Christina Ramos from Cambridge Savings Bank. I'm actually joined with two other colleagues from Human Resources, Allison Gray, who's the head business partner, and Maggie Upta, who is actually from the talent acquisition team. So I'm going to actually give Maggie a chance. She's the newer person on the team to, share her experience, talk a little bit about Cambridge Savings Bank and why you might want to check us out.
Great, thank you.
Take it away, Maggie.
Take it over, Maggie.
Okay, thank you so much for the great introduction, Christina, and thank you, Tom, for having Cambridge Savings Bank on this call. Cambridge Savings Bank is a mutual community bank with over 17 branches over the Commonwealth. So when I say a mutual bank, that means that our members are our shareholders. So we are essentially serving our members. Like I said, we have 17 branches with our main operation, a facility in Waltham. I like to think of it as the state of the art. As Christina said, I am one of the newest members, which I just onboarded back in August. So when you think of banking, when you think of a bank, you might think of retail, but we have other types of jobs that we're looking to hire. We have operations, some audit, risk and finance division, and some areas of growth is some financial risk and financial compliance, and then BSA fraud. So we're super interested in answering your questions and assist in your application questions, and we're just here to assist.
Thank you, Maggie, for that overview. Let's give Allison a chance to say hello, and just you're part of the wonderful team at the bank, and just 30 seconds, a minute, just tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Gray. I work alongside Maggie and Christina. I've been at the bank for about 4.5 years, and kind of like you all, you're trying to figure out how to transition your experience. I came from higher ed and I was a science major, and I now work in a community bank doing human resources. So there really is an art to kind of connecting your experiences, and we certainly can help you do that on the CSB team. It's one real easy way of connecting would be on the IT front. We have a couple of positions available. So really encourage you to reach out to myself or Maggie and Christina. And thank you so much for the opportunity, Tom.
Thank you, Allison. And Christina, would you like to add anything? I will mention that, as with Sergio and Mark, the vets will be getting the contact information for all three of you, Maggie, Allison, Christina, so that, Maggie, as you directed them to the website to learn about careers and apply, assuming they find something that matches their skills and interests, they then now will have the contact information for the three of you, and can give you a heads up that they are now in your system. And again, that's how we find that this thing really works, by connecting you to the folks and to specific jobs they've applied for. Anything you'd like to add, Christina, before we move to the next company?
Sure, real quick. I'm on the talent development engagement side of HR, and I'd be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about the culture. And one of the things that I do want to underscore is that we're very values driven, being a community bank, and our shareholders or the people who have the most stake in the bank are our customers. And so we really, really pride ourselves on giving back to the community. So when I was listening to the first session, I think it was maybe last week or so, I was really glad to hear that there's a lot of opportunity to align values with folks who are driven by their values in this population, because that's how we are as a bank. And so I really invite you to do a little research and see how that might make some translation. And if you would like to talk a little bit more about that and kind of think through, is Cambridge Savings Bank a great place to work for you, please reach out. I'm very happy to talk about some of the initiatives and the things that we're doing. And I think it was Kenneth before talked about diversity. That is a really big buzzword right now for a lot of folks, because we do pride ourselves in representing the communities that we serve and making sure that we understand the needs and the challenges of the community, especially when it comes to their financial well-being. And so someone who may have experience and comfort in a diverse community, working with people who may be different but still share values, is the type of employee that we hope to bring onto our team.
Christina, that's an excellent point. Thank you for bringing that up and highlighting Kenneth, and let that serve as an example for all of the vets in the cohort. I think Christina is giving you a very, very important guidance on something that can be helpful to you. And that is, as you create your plan for success and you create a skill statement, meaning what did you get good at, as you articulate, as Kenneth did, that you had to work with diverse groups. And as Charles said, get more specific about what you did exactly to do that in your skill statement. What you're hearing from Christina is, when you go into an interview, talk about that, because as Christina said, that's a very hot, I think you said, buzzword today. So companies are looking for people who have the skills, vets, that you have. But the whole key is with Edge4Vets, you got to, like a miner, you got to be able to go down there, get them and bring them forward. And I think Kenneth talked about that. You got to go down and get it and just bring it forward and talk about it in regular language. So thank you, Christina, for highlighting that, and let that serve as guidance for all of the vets on the call today. Let me go next to Kronos and Ultimate Software. And I'm assuming Nicole is with us. Is Nicole with us today?
Yep, I'm here, Tom. Thank you.
Okay. Nicole, how many folks do you have on your team? Is it just you, or is there anybody else from your team?
There might be Jamie Sullivan. I don't know if she's here. Well, if she is, I'll have her give a shout at the end.
Yeah, we'll give her a shout out if she's here. Listening in, she can unmute herself after you talk. So will you just, we'll hand the baton to you. And again, let me just say for everybody, all the vets on the call, we're spending a lot of time on this, but this is the connection workshop. And get out your pen and pencil and listen to the tips that you're hearing from these. These are the decision makers, folks. These are the folks that have access to those opportunities for you. So this is time well spent. And Nicole, we'll turn the baton over to you. Love to hear about Kronos Ultimate Software and the kinds of opportunities that exist with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom. So we recently rebranded to become UKG, Ultimate Kronos Group. We merged with Ultimate Software earlier in 2020. So we still have two separate pages, but we're getting there to be one unified brand at this point. So when I talk about UKG, I'm talking about Kronos and Ultimate Software here. As far as the types, or I guess what we're focused on is workforce management and human capital management software. So we sell business to business to help businesses manage their employees, whether it be payroll, timekeeping, scheduling, looking at labor analytics, anything that will help them streamline some workforce management issues for them. So as far as our offices, our global headquarters is actually located in Lowell, Massachusetts, which is fantastic. We have about 1,200 employees there, and we have about 12,000 employees globally. So if you're staying local to the area, we have opportunities across the board within that office, from project management, consulting, sales positions, software engineering, IT, information security, finance, marketing, everything in between. And my role at Kronos as well is I manage the internship program. So for anyone that is in school and also looking for internships, we do have a pretty large summer program as well. And the easiest way for you to find the positions is to visit the UKG careers page. And when you scroll down, you'll actually see a link to go to either Ultimate Software or Kronos careers page. We're still merging them. But if you visit both, there could be opportunities in all different areas. Although the Ultimate side is primarily based kind of in the South, their headquarters is in Florida.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nicole. And yeah, this is, you're talking about the career page. This is it, folks. We've got it up on the screen, and you see up here Kronos or Ultimate Software. You can go to them. So again, Vets, we gave you the website for each of our companies to give you an advance, a heads up to start researching and see what the companies do. And today we're showing you the career page. So go to this career page, as Nicole says. If you find something that appeals to you, apply for it, and then you'll have Nicole's contact information to let her know that you did, and we can close the loop that way. So Nicole, thank you. It looks like Jamie's not here, but we'll go then to our next company, Keolis. We saw Charles. I'm not sure if Patrick is with you, Charles, but if you want to take the baton, Charles, and tell us a little bit about Keolis and the opportunities with you.
Okay, great. Thank you. My name is Charles Fuller. I'm the Senior Talent Acquisition Manager for Keolis Commuter Services. One of the biggest changes that happened to us in the last 18 months is that we are now the North American headquarters for Keolis America. And what this means is we have several business lines. I am pitching for commuter rail, here in Boston, but we also have a transit group of folks who are all around the country. They're out on the West Coast, down in Florida, some of the southern part of the country, Las Vegas, in a number of different places. Plus, they're also up in, where is it, in Canada, Montreal and Waterloo and a few places up there. So when you look at an opportunity at Keolis, you have to make sure you know which business line. Transit, buses, commuter, are commuter rail trains, so to keep the two separate. There's also a commuter rail in Virginia. So we're getting used to, I'm not sure if it was Allison or who it was who said that they're sort of blending the cultures right now. Well, we're in that same mix. So when you go to the site, don't be confused. Just realize that we have a transit business, which is buses. We have a commuter rail business, which are the commuter trains, and there are two of them, one in Virginia and one up here in Massachusetts. So Keolis International is they've been in the company's about 100 years old. It's a French-owned company. They've been in the commuter rail, in the transportation business for almost 100 years. They were thrilled to get this contract in Massachusetts because Keolis Commuter Services is the 5th largest commuter rail system in the country. And Keolis's feeling was, if we can demonstrate that we're doing well here, we're going to be able to increase our footprint in North America. And in the 8 years they've been here, that's absolutely what they've done. They've spread out and demonstrated that they are a national company, fully able to take in all sorts of business lines. When you specifically go to our website, so I've told you already, we have different business lines, so make sure you know which one you're looking at. Each of them has a little statement that will say something about it. We are a public sector contractor. We have 14 unions. This is the national standard in the railroad industry. There are local unions, but it's the same 14 unions across the United States. So needless to say, we're hired by the MBTA to deliver the day-to-day operation of their commuter rail system. This means that a lot of our jobs are field jobs. They are technical in nature. We divide into three basic areas: mechanical services to support the trains, engineering to support the physical property and the facility and all of those sorts of things, and then customer service, that customer-facing experiences. So the majority of our jobs are in that area. We also have office jobs, the typical, finance, business things. We have management jobs. This is a pensioned environment, which means that we have a 30-year pension. So this is not just a job when you come to Keolis, you're wanting to build a career in the transportation industry, and we will work with you to figure out how you get to those next steps in a career. So this is unlike some other businesses. This is definitely a career. Your service here has value and continues to contribute to the organization. I'm going to just follow up very quickly on something that was said, Allison Gray said, where she said she started out in science and education, a different background, and then ended up in the banking industry. Well, I'm going to give you 30 years very, very, very quickly. I spent 10 years as an opera singer and a educator. I then spent 18 years in higher ed and consulting industries as a project manager and also handling budgetary and financial kinds of operations for those folks. And then I've spent the last 20 years as an HR talent acquisition person. So I know something about making career transitions and talking about your experiences and how you go from one area to another. And I think we all have to develop a certain amount of fluency on that. I'm going to leave you with one little comment, and then I want my other colleagues, if they're on the call, just to quickly introduce themselves so that you know that we're all here. When you are talking about your experiences, as you've gone through the workbooks and the classes, you have to keep one thing in mind. You got to be able to talk about anything that you put down as being significant in I call it the elevator pitch. You got to have the 30-second blurb, talk about it. Person says, oh, tell me some more. Then you got to be able to talk about it for a minute. Oh, tell me some more. Then you got to be able to talk about it for 2 minutes. And I tell folks, have that 30-second talk, that 60-second talk, and the 2-minute talk. And if you're talking about any one area more than 2 minutes, then you're wasting your time in an interview. Try to move the topic onto another selling point or a hook. So that's, if you remember nothing else, that's 30-second, 60-second, 2 minutes, okay? Now, Elka, are you here? Elka Corrales? Well, my other colleague is Elka Corrales, and Pat Motto, I'm not sure is here. He's a vice president. Are you there?
Hey, Pat, how are you? Why don't you just give a quick hello and what you do?
Yeah, so hello, everybody. My name's Pat Motto. I'm an 11-year Army veteran. I got out as a major, and through some of the work that Tom has done, I helped move this into the state of Rhode Island. Now, because of Tom's great work, I have taken the lessons learned from this course and applied them to advance myself to the job I want for the career and the life that I want.
That's great.
And that has gotten me here. I'm now the Vice President of Leadership and Capability for Keolis Americas, Inc. So I oversee all of the learning and development needs for the approximately 6,000 folks here in North America.
Wow.
And then something that Charles didn't really touch on, he mentioned the 100-year history, but we are a French-owned company that is all over the world, and we do every mode of transportation, including parking cars. We're the #1 car parking service in France. So we do everything but fly planes across the world. So if you want to have a career where you're mobile and want to go somewhere else, you want to look to Keolis.
Thank you, Patrick. And Charles, as we leave you, I'll say, since you're an opera singer, we'll give you on the next round a chance to sing the praises instead of having a video. We'll call on you to sing the praises live for those who get hired. How's that?
Okay, consider yourselves warned.
Let me go to. I'm not sure if Carson is here with Biogen. He may be, but Biogen is becoming one of our partners or looking to become one of our partners. Is Carson there? All right, well, you're going to get all of that digitally then, folks, and then as they grow and become an active partner, you'll get Carson himself. let me go to Boston Children's Hospital, our final company. And Florette are you here? And I'm assuming you have maybe a group with you. If Florette's here, I would like you to take the baton and tell us the opportunities that exist at Children's Hospital. If Florette is there, if you could unmute yourself, or if anybody else, I know there were several team members working with us from the Boston Children's Hospital. If any of them are with us today. I mean, if they're not, well, vets, you're going to be getting all of this information, not only the contact for the people, but all of this information on the careers available as a follow-up. Let me though move forward though by pulling the whole program together. We're getting ready to wrap up. We spent a lot of time, valuable. It was enormously valuable to hear from each of our companies, wanted them to directly address the opportunities that exist with them. But now what I'd like to do is pull the program together by, well, actually, let me go back to the slide that talked about the plan for success. You see the 4 parts in the plan: vision, values, skills. The final piece, vets, and I know some of you are still working on your plan for success. Let me say that, and some have brought elements of their plan. You got a draft, etc. You've had 2 weeks to work on it. You're going to have another 2 weeks at the conclusion of the workshop today to finish and polish your plan and submit it. So anybody still working on it, not to worry, you're going to have 2 additional weeks to bring that to fruition. And for those that are still working on it, I want to highlight this 4th step, which is really the critical one, and that is the action plan. You heard Charles talk about being able to go into an interview and give a headline on what you do and then be able to develop that. Well, what you really want to be able to do is develop this idea that you have values and skills that can help the company. And you do that with your action statement that talks about how you propose to take your values and skills from the military and put them into action to perform at a high level. So we're going to do a group discussion before we wrap up today. And before we talk about the action statement, I'm going to just show you a short video. This is a video that is on the online course that gives you guidance in advance of creating the action statement. So let's watch it now.
There is no happiness without action, said William James. And the same is true when searching for a job. There can be no success without action. In this video, we'll show you how to pull everything together, including your values and skills, to create an action statement. Action is the payoff for the time you've invested in the translation process. Action is your ace of spades. Let's recap. In step 1, you created a strong vision statement, which identifies the work you want to do for the career and the life that you want. Your vision statement is your ace of hearts. It reflects your passion. Next, you created an ace of diamonds, your value statement, to show companies that you have the values they are seeking. Then you created a skills statement, your ace of clubs. In combination, your values and skills reflect your leadership strengths and form an unbeatable asset, one that can set you apart in a job interview. But to seal the deal, to add an ace of spades, you need an action plan. Here's how to create a strong action statement. Print out your values and skills statements. Set them side by side and tell how you plan to combine your military values and skills to perform at a high level in whatever work you choose. That's action. You don't have to know who your employer is going to be at this point. You just have to know how you can apply your values and skills to perform at your peak. Your action statement is your ace of spades because that's what interviewers want to hear from you. They want you to tell them how you will use your asset, your military values and skills to excel at the work that you choose. Again, let's go to the circle for success. Your values and skills are your leadership strengths. They combine to give you a powerful asset. Your action statement communicates how you plan to put those values and skills into action, which in turn will put you on a path to achieving your vision. As we said earlier, you may well change your vision statement by the end of this process. You may well give it more definition before you submit it to us, but that's a good thing. Determining what you want in life, not what you think you want or what somebody may want for you, that's a lifelong process. The goal of Edge4Vets is to get you jump-started. And once you go through this strengths translation process, once you finalize and submit your plan for success, you'll be holding all the cards. In this case, 4 aces to gain an edge in the jobs marketplace.
Okay, let's go to our discussion. In the first workshop, we did discussions around values. No matter what branch you were in, each of the branches inculcates values, and you adopted those values for yourself, and you still carry them now into your civilian life, and that can be part of your asset that can make you attractive to companies. We talked about skills that you developed, what duties did you have, what did you get good at? Well, the key now for action is, how are you going to use your values and skills to perform at a high level? I'm not sure if Liam Gale is with us. Liam went through this process already, and is Liam there?
Hi, Tom. Yeah, I am.
Okay, Liam, what I'd like you to do is, just as a guide for the other vets that are still working on their plan, share with us how this process of getting clarity on your values and skills, and then talking in terms of being able to use them, how you plan to use them, was helpful to you as a way to offer guidance to others who can learn from you.
Yeah, and it's good to be back with everyone. And I'm just a little bit about me. I'm at Simmons University right now for my master's in social work, and I'm at the Bedford VA working with homeless veterans. So Edge4Vets has kind of redirected me back to kind of my purpose and a meaningful career in working with veterans. So developing the action plan and laying out my beliefs and my strengths from the military, and basically using the guidelines that Tom has provided really allowed me to almost dissect everything down to the fine details, to really be able to identify how I can translate those skills into corporate lingo or the healthcare field. So I've kind of bounced around as well. So I've been working with hospitals and corporate retail, and ultimately kind of doing some self-reflection and using the same program and layout. I was able to just identify, going back to my roots as a veteran and supporting the veteran population. So the process is going to be different for everyone. It's not going to happen overnight. But the biggest thing I would recommend is use these tools that Edge4Vets provides. Leverage your networks, whether it's LinkedIn or the networks you build through Edge4Vets, and really reach out to those mentors or your cohort for bouncing ideas off of each other, because the branches are all different in unique ways, but as veterans, we kind of share a common some commonalities, whether it's through deployments or just basic training. So I think we can relate to each other in many ways, but I think you guys are going to be some of your best sources of feedback, including the mentors. So and again, just utilize the tools that Edge4Vets give you, because it's really helpful to be able to put things down on paper and visualize how you're going to be able to relate that to whether you're in the banking or some other industry. And the advice that the mentors have given you, look at their websites and look at their values, and how do your values match up with theirs, and how can you tie in stories or experience to that, is some additional advice I can give.
Hey, Liam, that's wonderful. And I didn't realize that the course has led you back through your vision statement to service and service to other veterans, and now with the VA. Well, I have no doubt that we'll be checking in on you down the road, and you'll most likely be chairman of the Joint Chiefs at some point with that passion. So thank you very much for that, and thank you for your guidance for the other vets to learn from you. I'd like to open the floor. We got a little bit of time left before we break today, and I'd like to open up the floor to any of the vets on the call who would like to, don't be shy here, but I'd like, share with the group how you believe that the military gave you values and skills that can allow you to perform at a high level. You know, you want to talk about the values and skills that Liam did that he developed. Is there any vet on the call who would like to, you know, talk about values and skills that they believe the military helped them form? And if you know, you want to raise your hand, unmute yourself. If there's any vet, again, don't be shy. Well, let me while we're waiting for a vet to raise their hand, and let me go to the companies, and let's hear from. We heard from the companies the kinds of opportunities that you offer, but I'd love to hear from somebody on the company side about how vets who can come into an interview and share values and skills that they developed can give them an edge, can make you lean forward to say, this person could be unique and this person could help us. Anybody in the company want to affirm for all the vets on the call that their values and skills are valuable to your company and you do look for them? So if they do gain the clarity through Edge4Vets and are able to articulate them in their plan, that can then give them an edge because you're looking for folks like that. Anybody on the company side?
I'd be happy to, on the CSB side of the house, add a couple.
Please, Allison.
You know, one of the things I think that it's so important as you yourself are on your embarking on your career search is what's important to you and how do you want to make decisions on a day-to-day basis. So you're already bringing a bunch of skills to the table, right? So that's what you're working through with your vision statements and trying to figure out how that translates. But then there's that how aspect of what you do and the why that is driving it behind that. And I think at CSB, you know, we can always say, okay, someone has the technical skills and the technical know-how to do something. But when they're here and they're part of our culture and they're interacting with our colleagues and they're making decisions and, you know, the integrity that they're showing, that's the real differentiator. And I think that that's something that speaks to me at Cambridge Savings Bank. That's what's kept me here for so long. And it's kept me very intrigued by the work we do. But I think as you're making these decisions and you're figuring out what's important to you, it's the types of problems you like to solve, and it's how you like to solve those problems that's going to really resonate with you as you're making this decision. And it's the true north that you have for yourself. And when you put all those things together, so you have the skills, you have the how and what your true north is, that's when you really know what your sweet spot is for where you want to go. And ideally through the interview process and the networking process that you're going through, you figure out, oh, that, you know, Cambridge Savings Bank is a place that really, you know, hits that for me, or, you know, maybe it's Boston Scientific, one of those things. So I guess I would say it's not just what you're doing, it's how you're doing it and why you're doing it. And those three tenets are going to make it very valuable for your search.
Allison, thank you. And just to follow up on your point about how important that is to craft that vision statement. The process that we use in Edge4Vets is in the online course, the question that they get asked is, what duties did you have? And then what did you enjoy? And you heard Kenneth talk about that earlier. What did you enjoy about each of those duties? And it's if you can identify something something tangible that you did, but then you can identify enjoyment that you got, as you say, that can be the tip off to a passion that, hey, wait a minute, there's a light bulb that goes off and hey, that's something that maybe I could do that for life. And then you go to, and somebody said it, the website for the company, we gave it to you. I would encourage you, research, go through and look at what all of these companies do, because then you can match what your passion is, what you enjoy doing, along with skills and values you develop. You can match them to the opportunities available to you. Any other vet before we get ready to close up formally? Want to pitch in and just talk about how the military gave them values and skills that, you know, companies say we want to hire vets because they have leadership strengths. Well, leadership strengths for us at Edge4Vets is too vague a term. So we break it into, they are the leadership strengths, but we break them into the values you developed and the skills that you developed. And that's your asset. And I see we got Patrick Bergen on there. Patrick, you want to
Sure,
talk
Tom.
about values and skills that you believe the military gave you that can make you attractive to a company?
For me, the biggest value there were many values, but the biggest one for me was the importance, and not only the importance of, but the way to establish trust, not only with your peers, but with your leadership. Because in all business, it doesn't matter what roles you have, if there's not a mutual trust involved, it's very difficult to succeed in any role. So in the military, you kind of have to, figure that out yourself. You're taught the skills, but when it comes down to the integrity, the level of ethics, your honesty, your, transparency, that all instills very strong bonds of trust, which then makes it more effective for you to do your job and for you to succeed. So if there's one thing that, I follow every day, it's working hard, which is not always easy to do, but you have to pay attention to it and keep it in the forefront, is to establish strong bonds that are based on, your ethics, your integrity, and really for the effort of forming trust.
Okay, Patrick, you said some things here that really I'm leaning forward, but you got me excited to pursue this. Because I'm going to propose that trust is the goal you want to go to establish trust. But I'm going to go back to Charles Fuller, something he said, where he talked about, being specific about what you did to do that. And I would like to hear, and I think you said it in there about hard work.
Right.
What did you do specifically? Did you do specifically to engender trust? And I'm going to guess that when you had that work ethic, and you worked hard every day, then your superiors saw that, your colleagues saw that, and then trust followed from that. Because trust is just a vague word until, as Charles says, you put the specifics to it. What did you do?
Yeah, it's a foundation of dedication, on time, making sure that you're open and transparent, that there's a level of ethics in how you conduct yourself, that you treat people with dignity and respect, that you listen more than you talk. Those types of fundamentals.
I'm jumping in here because this is all great. You're ticking off 3 or 4 things. HR folks, somebody jump in and back up that Patrick. Go into an interview, and we're getting ready to wrap up, but we want to offer you guidance, vets, because this is the action statement. How are you going to use your values and skills to get somebody to say yes to you? Go into an interview, Patrick, and don't change a word of it in terms of those specifics that you did. The showing up on time, the doing the work all the way through until the job was done. When you say something, you do it. These are the specifics. And somebody on the HR side back us up that Patrick, as an example for everybody, is on the right track. And that's what you want to do when you go into an interview. You want to be specific. And you want to be what's authentic. Authentic is just talking, you heard Adam say, Liam say rather, that everybody's story is going to be different, but what's true for you? And I'd love to hear somebody on the HR side back us up that Patrick's on the right track.
Patrick's on the right track.
Please, Christine, tell why from the bank's point of view.
I think that he's hitting a lot of the important words, but what's I think to take it a little further is telling an actual story, and think of a good story of like a specific situation where you can go through all of those elements. That's what we're looking for when we say show a little bit more detail and talk a little bit more descriptively about it. And so what I recommend is this is not something that comes easily to folks. I think it's very natural for us to speak very generally and talk somewhat vaguely because there's almost too much sometimes to choose from. And so this is something that goes into preparation for an interview, and it's writing down your story and trying to first write as much as you can, but then really just pull out the pieces that's a succinct story with a beginning, middle, and an end. And the end is really, you have your thesis is you should hire me for this because I have this skill and I'm going to apply it in this way, which I've already done before. And then the end is kind of like, okay, and this is how it's, benefited me. This is what I learned from it, or this is how I'm going to apply it in the future. There's a lot of different ways you can approach it, but practicing is the biggest component to the preparation.
Christina,
And what I would,
oh, I'm
what
sorry.
I want to recommend is that you have a lot of people here on this call today who have raised their hand to be partners and mentors. And I can speak for myself specifically. I'd be happy to anyone who reaches out to me to try to make time to help talk through a story and maybe do like that mock interview type of piece, and kind of help you guys really craft that in your answers in a way that you can just kind of pull it out of your pocket for whatever kind of question that might come up, that it makes sense. It shouldn't just be one specific story for one specific question.
Right.
You should be able to have all these in your back pocket to pull out at any given moment where it might make sense.
Christina, that's wonderful. And I was just looking to underscore the point you're making. The online course in that action statement area, crafting an action statement, guides them through the process of doing exactly what you're saying. In other words, get that story down on paper. The reason I focus so strongly on the action statement is because that's the one that's going to get you over the goal line, folks. That's the one, as Christina said, she's going to be leaning forward if you can come in with a story. And then, Patrick, say in your case, well, we had an assignment and we had, a month to do it, and you give all the detail and the specifics of the assignment. And then within that, you tell how I came to work on time. I did every duty until it was done. So you set the scene. That's what Christine is telling you with an actual incident. Right. And then you put in those tangibles and the specifics that Charles is urging you to do. And that's how you're going to get that HR person to lean forward and like say, this person is interesting and we're going to want to know more about you.
Right.
Okay. So wrapping up, I want to make sure that we end on time, but I want to summarize what we've done today. All participants have been invited to take the online course. Let me underscore, if anybody has not gone to chat yet, if anybody joined us in progress, I'm asking you to put your contact information, your name and your email along in parentheses, whether you are a vet or a mentor, in the chat so that we'll know who you are. And if you did not get the access to the online course, let me know, because we have sent it to everybody, but if you didn't get it, we can follow up. You're going to have another 2 weeks to go through, watch the videos, do the exercises, and create a vision statement, a value statement, a skill statement, and an action plan. Hit submit, and it prints out nice and clean as a plan for success. And then you get a chance, as you see Aaron there on the left, you get a chance to download your Edge4Vets certificate. And it's your certificate, it's your plan. And again, I would love to hear from somebody on the HR side that if vets are looking for an edge, whatever you can do to distinguish yourself is going to give you that edge. And if you can show that you've invested your time and your energy to take Edge4Vets and get clarity on what your asset is, clarity on your values, clarity on your skills, and then you have, as Christina said, put that down on paper in these 4 areas, and you've got a nice plan for success that is personal, as Liam said, to you. That's what's going to give you the edge. It's the investment of time that you do that somebody else who's not with us on the call today does not do. And that's how we find that up to 8 out of 10 of you get hired, because you make that investment. Somebody, as we get ready to wrap up on the HR side, back me up that for all of the vets on the call today, and again, some are not on the call and we're making a video of this, they had to work or whatever, they'll get this and be able to watch it. But we've got 40 something and probably a couple of more in the cohort. Anybody who wants that edge, it's that investment of your time and energy that sets you apart with folks looking for people who have that kind of drive and ambition. As we get ready to close, somebody in the HR side, please back me up that when you see these vets invest their time, their energy, create a plan for success, articulate their strengths, and then be able to go in and talk about them, that sets them apart. And offer that as encouragement for our folks today. Anybody want to
I can do that. This is Charles Fuller.
Yeah, we'll give anybody who wants. Charles, why don't you take it first, because I'd love to hear from
Okay.
everybody on this point.
I will give a nod to everybody who has spoken and everything that they've said. And what I would tell the vets is you are in the process of developing your brand and figuring out how do I match what is special and unique to me to this particular organization or that organization. It has to have portability. So you have to become comfortable with what it is you're selling. Just a quick note for me, I'm in a high volume talent acquisition thing. I get hundreds of resumes all the time. When you send me, once you've applied and you reach out, the first thing on that subject line should be all caps Edge4Vets. That I search on that all the time. And if I know that one of my buddies from one of these conferences is out there, I will take a look and respond.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Anybody, we're getting ready to wrap up, but is there any other HR folk who wants to back us up that the vets are on the right track with this?
So just to add, as I mentioned earlier, when I was talking about CSB, I'm one of the newest members, and a piece of advice I would say is just essentially sell yourself. Sell your what you can bring to the organization, what you've learned in your field, and how that's going to translate into your new role or your proposed role. So after you've done all the work, what's left now for you to do is practice and then sell yourself. That's what I did. I'm coming from a nonprofit organization into a banking institution. I have no experience in that, but what I was able to do was practice and then sell. Basically, why do you want me? I don't need you. Why do you want me? So that's what I would say.
Maggie, and on that point, our intention with Edge4Vets is to be the tool that they can use, because they can articulate their strengths with the values and skills and bring that into you as a tool to sell themselves. So thank you for the point. Let me wrap up by saying that, again, vets, you're going to get the contact information for all of our reps and their team members at our partner companies. You've already gotten the websites. Encourage you to do research into the kinds of things that they're looking for. And then you've got the link to the career website, apply for a job, and then let the contact person know that you have. And then also the companies were going to send you the contact information for all of the vets. As we wrap up, I want to thank, yes, our vets who've invested your time. I mean, we're a university, we're educators. We love doing this for, as I call students, folks who want to apply energy and learn. So we're here for you, vets. And again, when I say vets, I'm talking National Guard, service members, transitioning, spouses, etc. We're here for you, but we could not do this. And I just want to end with a shout out to our mentors. We could not do this without the partner companies. The partner companies make this program possible. I want to thank all of our partner companies. You guys have been with us. And then even more so, you're volunteering your time today. You came to workshop number 1 and you gave the 90 minutes to offer your input. You came here today and you showcased all of the opportunities that exist with you. And again, I hope that our vets had their pen and pencil ready and we're taking it all down. Because it's not every day, vets, that you get decision makers at this high level with the talent organizations of their companies that are able, that do come and give time like this for you. So my shout out is to all of the partner companies and to the vets. Thank you for taking us through the process to learn about your companies today. Vets, thank you for investing your time in yourself. Now we're going to back out now. Any vets who are still working on your plan, as I say, we give you 2 weeks, and then we're going to share the contact information between the vets and the mentors back and forth, and then go to our opera singer for the next round so you can sing the praises of everybody who gets hired. How's that, Charles? He's muted himself. Wow. Okay. So we're going to unmute you when it's time for the opera. let me thank everybody for joining us today. I do want to end on time, so we're ready to wrap up. I see we got Ed Bond there as a mentor. We've had other guests who've volunteered to their time from the corporate side to weigh in and be helpful to our vets. Whole objective, vets, is we're happy when we see you get not just hired. And I'm gonna close with the word that's the most horrible word for me anyway in this program, and it's underemployed. If you live your life underemployed rather than going for the dream that you have based on your passion, then you have not had a chance to achieve your full potential in life. And that's what we want to see for you. We want to see you take your passion, find a job that can lead to a career, get up every day and enjoy doing it. And that's what makes Edge4Vets happy. So saying that, I want to thank everybody. We'll be in touch digitally now. Anybody who did not put your contact information into chat, please do it right now before we close. But thank you, everybody. And we'll see you for the next round. We're going to grow and expand in the spring. And we hope to get some good folks hired from this round and see you again in the spring. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.